to speak to you on these issues of integrity. We've done this for quite some time now, coming to 3 weeks now, I think, down the road as we speak with you in this program, The Reference Point. I'm Innocent in the studio together with my colleague,
Pastor Asaf Isabide Afuga. Greetings, dear listeners. We're always grateful that you are part of the show every Monday, 8 p.m. Please stay tuned. We have a lot for you. Thank you.
Yeah, but Pastor, many things happen during the day. Now that we are practicing integrity and trying to put into practice whatever we preach and speak about on air, what has been your day like in the world of integrity?
Yeah, actually, I just want to talk about yesterday. I had a very fun experience. I went somewhere, I wanted to buy some stuff, and I was watching the person who was selling to me, how he took much time. Then there's another customer who came in, and he was like, if you can't wait, please you go. We were many customers, by the way. The first customer had come before me. Then this guy left him with the money to prepare for him the stuff so that he comes back and just pick. So when the person came back, he told him, I've not yet done it. And this person said, it is now 2 hours. I left with you my stuff. I thought it would be ready by now. And then this guy said, okay, I'm still making it right now, but if you can't wait, please, I can give you your money and you go back. Unfortunately, he did so.
He gave the money back to the guy.
He gave the money back to the guy, and the guy left the stuff when it's ready.
That's when, last time, I think when we had Godfrey, I was trying to put it to him, being a businessman, how do they manage keeping trust at a point of many customers? We might ask that question.
Exactly.
You see, many times people get overwhelmed by numbers, and you may not consider the individuals because you look at the numbers. You may think that because you have the numbers, then a single person or two is not anything that you may care about. You end up actually disappointing one person, not knowing that the one that you disappointed will actually communicate the same message to another person, to the other person, and the entire thing will keep on moving. And this destroys business. So like that person, I doubt whether the person whose money was refunded will ever buy from that shop.
Actually, many customers were disappointed yesterday, and some of them tried calling the boss.
Yeah.
But the problem was not numbers. The problem was somebody's character.
Oh.
He was not a good person to deal with.
Okay.
Because he could even stand there and just look at you. He said, you wait if you don't want to go back.
That definitely wasn't their business.
Yeah,
workers maybe.
Because they reached a point of telling him that we can call the boss and he fires you. Then he said, let him fire me.
Oh, sorry. This
is not the only place where he can work. So the issue is character, and the character is what we are talking about.
Yeah, it is actually our topic today. Brother Godfrey, you're most welcome. Please greet our listeners before we can start on this issue of character. Yes.
Dear listeners, I'm glad to be here again. I'm Wesigwa Godfrey. I'm a businessman here in the state of Ginger. And thank you for listening to us, and you shall have a good time today.
Okay. So members, this is Pathway for Integrity Network on Smart FM. Every Monday, we are here from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We do discuss issues of trust, and we earlier on, I think, two weeks ago, we began on the 8 pillars of trust as discussed in a book by David Hosaga, who puts down these 8 pillars as one of the key aspects that can develop trust. We did look at the clarity pillar, which is pillar number 1. We looked at the compassion pillar. We are now going to look at the character pillar. And all this is in the name of showing you how best you can build trust as long as you are practicing these pillars of trust. But before we can dive into this pillar of character, I will invite Pastor Asaf to briefly take us through who we are, especially for our listeners that have joined in today and don't know anything to do with Path of Integrity Network.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Innocent. Dear listeners out there, we are the Path of Integrity Network located in Ginger City, Clive Road, Central East, at Haj Hussein Building, floor 1 and shop number 21 if you need us or if you want to find us. This organization has a mission of a trustworthy global community that is thriving on integrity, transparency, and ethical leadership, where we aim at helping people out there to be trusted or to trust one another, so that this can help us maybe to foster development. Today we are talking about trust and one of the pillars that make up trust. So trust becomes the central message we are sending out there to you, so that you can we can lead a prospering nation or something of that kind. Path of Integrity Network has its leadership. I being the executive director and Mr. Innocent, the deputy executive director, and we're also working with a board team where Mr. Mespa is part of it. That board team is headed by Mr. Chango Moses, the executive director for Busoga headed the forum. We're also working with Mrs. Actually, she's called the Professor Alice Nachiemba.
Yeah.
She's working with Vistoma University as a dean, and we're also working with Mr. Ocho Stephen. He's a government auditor, also on the board. We think that you will be part of us as you continue to listen to us every Monday, 8 p.m. We are also on social media, different social media platforms like WhatsApp. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. You can visit and watch some of our videos, Path of Integrity Network. You can like and share with different people, because we are trying to send out the message. We are trying to encourage different people to listen to us, so that maybe as we invite you for a physical meeting, we can share more and you guide us on how we can build this organization. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Pastor Asaf, for that brief introduction of especially who we are. Members, we have earlier on told you that we are going to look at the pillar of character, which is one of the other 8 pillars of trust that David Hosager writes in his book, The 8 Pillars of Trust. But before we go into the academic definition of what character is, I may ask Mr. Godfrey, what character definition do you define yourself of? If one gave you such a question, give us a sincere interpretation of who you are in terms of character.
Yeah, sometimes it may be difficult to talk about yourself, because the Bible really says, do not blow your own trumpet.
Yes.
But I think I can talk about myself, what people say about me. Most people say I'm a trustworthy person.
Okay.
They say I'm humble. When I make a mistake, I accept the mistake.
Okay.
I easily say sorry.
Okay.
I appreciate people.
Okay.
I don't dwell so much on the negative, but on the positive. I respect people. Like in my business, sometimes the employees who are young, who have just joined us, you see them referring to people as that woman. I always say, no, that madam.
Yeah.
Better
you
madam.
introduce the person as a madam,
You
not
say,
a woman.
that madam, that lady over there.
Yeah.
Don't say that woman. Sometimes maybe a customer has gone and something she has left behind.
Yeah.
I said, please, can you run after the customer? And there is one who just clapped. I said, no, they don't do that. You don't do that. You don't shout at a customer. Run as much as possible. Catch up with her and tell her, please, excuse madam, there is this and that. So a number of things that define character. That's what people say I am.
That's what people say you are. Pastor Asaf,
Yes.
give us your sincere description and definition of what sort of character, what sort of a person in terms of character that you are.
Yeah, maybe I can talk about two things, which I also hear people say about me, and which I may also know about myself. Maybe being a humble person,
Yes.
and also somebody who is always compassionate. I'm always dragged into people's problems because I want to help them.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I know about myself in terms of character,
Okay.
humility, and being kind or compassionate.
It has seemingly been so simple for you two guys to describe yourselves, whatever character that you are. I'm imagining if I'd hosted a thief or I'd hosted a murderer, how simple would it be, Godfrey, for that person to define their character?
I know it will be difficult, and I don't think that person will be sincere.
To speak about who they
Speak
are.
about who they are easily. And you see, the explosion will tell that actually he's not telling the truth about himself. So it will be as difficult as that.
Yeah.
Of course, it's difficult. Someone can't say that, you know, me people know I'm a thief. That one, someone can't speak such a thing.
Such a thing, yeah.
But so he'll try to put butter around himself. But when actually the truth is that he's not a good person.
So good character is easy to speak about,
Yes.
as opposed to bad character. Were you born like that, Bwana Mwesigu?
I wasn't born like that. Character is shaped. Though also there are some sentiments of character which are inborn, which you sort of inherit from parents.
Yeah, from parents.
You find that yourself, just find yourself kind, and yet you are from the same home, brought up under the same conditions as children, but you find that you come out different. You have compassion, you feel sorry, feel together with other people who are suffering.
Yeah.
So some of it is inborn, but also some of it is what? Built.
Yeah.
The way you have been brought up. Yeah.
Pastor, how do you find that? Is this something that you've just landed into, being a kind man, being a person who is empathetic? Has this just come out of the blue, or you're born like that?
I think, to my understanding, I have not learned it over time. It is something I see, maybe being inborn. It's natural.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to be good because you've copied it from someone. You realize it's something that just comes automatically out of you, that you are being kind.
Yeah.
So I take it to be natural
Okay.
on my side.
It's natural.
Natural.
So it's inborn.
Inborn.
It's both.
Are all family members in your are all your brothers and sisters the same, like you are?
Not really. Some are like that and some are not.
How come you are one out of the many?
It may be genetics. Yeah, I sit on the side of my mother.
Yeah.
She's that kind of person who is always
person.
compassionate, compassionate and wanting to help people,
Yeah.
or loving. And, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but also I think the fact that she brought you up, it was also shaped in you.
Yeah.
You saw it in her, and she also thought this is the right way to live or to behave.
But I was
But
not
it's
the
also
only one.
inborn.
I was not the only one who was brought up. We are men and not others. Not all have it. So it may also be, we can say it is a two-way.
Majorly.
It is natural and maybe the other side of the nature. Nature?
Yeah.
Nature and nature.
Nurture and nature.
Yeah.
We see character as being the key cornerstone of building trust, especially good character. When someone has good character, then there are high chances that they build trust.
Yes.
but also we need to agree that this is something that has to be known, that a person with a good character may easily slide into being one with bad character. I want to believe that it is not permanent. I would add the word pensionable later. Because take an example that you've fallen into a temptation because the persons or the people that surround you simply drum up a message that you kind of take up. You think it is something that is good to do.
Of course.
How about that?
Of course, there's a statement or saying that says a bad company corrupts good character. That means also character can be shaped on the outside by someone copying or learning from others or being influenced by others.
Like an example, today I had a customer from a foreign origin, and he wanted something which required weighing. She said, but you weigh properly. Make sure it is accurate. This is Uganda. So you can see that someone can be of foreign origin, but the moment he lands in Uganda,
he doesn't trust any Uganda.
Even him himself, his character changes. By being dishonest, by being, weighing less than what he's supposed to do. So I think the environment also can shape people. A good person into a bad person.
Actually, Mr. Mesugwe may be right, because if you move around talking to different people in this country, many of them have lost hope because of how they see the country.
The country they are living in.
We are finding it a challenge to talk to them about trust and having integrity, because most of them say, no, you can try, but the whole nation is corrupted.
It's corrupt,
and people are looking for survival, so no one is good. We have all to look for ways of surviving. So you realize that people are being shaped into a different direction because of the environment, the life they are going through.
So members and our listeners tuned in, we are tackling this topic on character. It is something that really helps us to develop a strong spirit of trust for people that we live with, for those that we associate with. I'm just imagining at your workplace, do you trust the people that you are in fact working with? What do you see in them? Normally people with the same character tend to associate in a company of people with good character, and those with bad character equally also group themselves that way to actually do their bad things, because it is normal. In fact, if you're in a company of people with bad character and you take a message of good character, you will shock them. I normally tell people that don't say you're going to change. I'll give an example of a prostitute, and you go to their corners. They may take up you may finally be taken up, because you're going to a company of no one will understand the language you're speaking. They feel that is who they are. And Mr. Mwesuga, you may know it, that it's becoming very difficult for parents to nurture their children because there are so many avenues that kids are getting guided. We have phones, we have televisions, we have internet. So a child who has a role model, if that role model has bad character, definitely that child will follow up and do exactly what that role model is doing. And the kind of that helping this child change and telling the child that no, this is not the right thing, it may not be easy. We have parents that are suffering, very strong Christian families, suffering with children that are taking marijuana, that are taking drugs of whatever magnitude. But because they followed a certain role model at a certain point who had a bad character, and now the struggles in the family are to fight the habit that the children are actually showing. And the unfortunate thing is that we spend very little time with our children, we the parents. The schools have opened today, but imagine 3 months. You don't have
at
it.
home for only 10 days.
10, some 10 days, yes. Some 10 days. They are going for 3 months at school, living with their fellow youth or fellow children, and they're learning a lot of things. From the bad character kids, your child is actually picking those behaviors that are bad character. And fighting such is not easy. It is entirely difficult thing. Yes.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Innocent, as we go for a short break, we'll be coming back to talk about the negative bit of, actually we'll be talking about the bad character, how it has affected trust in our community. But I wanted to bring in an example of a friend who had a brother who copped a bad behavior at school.
Let's come back from that point. Our listeners, we are captivating an interesting discussion on trust. The moment we get back, we normally invite our listeners to always continue meditating about these discussions that we have. And I will encourage you as much as possible to always follow us on our social platforms, like Pastor Asaf will get them to you later. But we have a WhatsApp number which you can send a message, a comment, or a question during the show. We shall definitely give a response. The number is 0755 34 74 24. 0755 34 74 24. That's our WhatsApp number. Please find time to interact with us using that number. It will be all well. This is the Pathway for Integrity Network, and today our point of discussion is character, and character. We've already discussed bits and bits of what it is. We want to dive into character in terms of the negative character and how it does affect someone's relationship in terms of trust. How does it affect you as a person? If your character is bad, what effects does it create in your relationship? How do you get to be affected as a person with bad character? Pastor.
Yeah, actually, as we left, I was giving a story of a friend who had a brother who copped bad character in school.
Yes.
This guy started taking Cuba.
Cuba is now what in this world of
Cuba is
bad
like
character?
It's
a drug?
It's a
drug.
drug.
Okay.
He engaged with bad groups at school.
Okay.
They taught him to take that, and eventually it went on growing in his mind. This guy became mad. So all the money they invested in him was lost like that, and the mother was tormented for years.
Yeah.
This guy died about 4 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
But he died because he was just knocked by a vehicle that was running. So the mother cried a lot because of the bad character this guy developed at school, which they didn't have at home. So many times when we have bad character, of course it spoils relationships. Because of mistrust, because of people not trusting us, they can't relate with us. Because of our character, if it is bad, people run away from you. I remember it is written somewhere in the scriptures that your gift can pave way for you before kings. But one thing I know is that it's your character that makes you to stay there. Very many people in this world have gotten opportunities of maybe good marriages, they get good husbands and maybe wives, they get opportunities of good jobs, but you know what will keep you at the job or what will keep you in marriage? It is your character. So whenever there is bad character, people will not trust you. And because of mistrust, it slows down development because no one would love to work with you. So you realize that if we don't work on our character in the right manner, we hinder development. because there will be few people who will be, or no one willing to work with us. So bad character will lead to mistrust.
Bwana Mwesigwa, how is a person of bad character affected, or does he affect anyone's relationship? Do they feel something is not right with how they are relating?
Yeah, when you're a person of bad character, definitely lose out on many things. And for example, if you were a liar, people know you for telling lies. Yeah. Even when you are speaking the truth,
They think you are lying.
they have to prove
To
it.
doubt and say no.
They have to
That
be
is
sure,
not true.
because they think you are telling
A lie.
a lie. So it is very dangerous, because even the time when you are speaking the truth and you want to help, people will not help you because they know this person is always a liar. Is always speaking the lies and is not speaking the truth. If you have a character of borrowing and you don't pay back, even in a time when you are genuinely borrowing and there is an emergency, you know this person is like that. We cannot help that person. So it has a lot of disadvantages in developing bad character. If you are if you are a rude person, there are people whose businesses have collapsed because of being impolite. They are rude to the customers. They don't care whether you buy or not.
It's not up to
It's up to you. But when the day you get a competitor is when you know that bad character is as dangerous as this, or being rude. So there are many aspects of bad character. So if someone is rude, you don't appreciate, you're always ungrateful, people will not be fond of you.
Okay.
Because we want people who are grateful, who appreciate. Usually a person who is appreciative will have many friends. If you appreciate what others do and recognize their importance. So there are many things that you lose out on because of bad character.
Pastor, does it come in the mind of any person with bad character, or is there any moment in their life that they feel like they are tired of their situation and they would love to change? Have you ever interacted with such a person who comes and confides in you and says, Pastor, look here, I am one person that is tired of this habit?
Of course, it comes many times whenever they are disappointed in life. That's when they feel the weight, and somebody feels like turning back to doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But if there is no disappointment, people take time to change. Yeah, somebody can have a bad character for so long because they are benefiting from it. The day they get disappointed, that's when they wake up and say, oh no, I need to repent and get back to normal. So they repent at some point, but when they feel the weight of their character being bad, some people gain from their bad character.
Is this a spiritual aspect? Because some people are thought to be with the bad character because spiritually they are not okay with their creator. Is that true?
Yes, it can, and in most cases it is, because one may even want to avoid the character, to try to be okay, but when they cannot do it,
it keeps taking him back.
It keeps taking them. That's why we pastors help people at church by counseling them, praying with them, so that maybe we can deal with the spirit. There are always spirits behind, by the way, their character influencing them. Some people think that you can fight it naturally or you can deal with it, but it may take time or it may never go away. At some point we have spiritual influences that come from ancestral spirits.
Oh, yes.
You realize someone is behaving like maybe the way the granddad behaved.
It's actually normal around alcohol and drinking, aspects like that, where they associate the traditional and the cultural background of the family. I see this young man is a drunkard, but remember his great-great-granny was the same.
Exactly.
So we actually see something coming in that line.
Yeah, our listeners should understand this. You may not be a born-again Christian,
Oh, yes.
but believe it or not, some of these spirits enter into genetics,
Yeah.
and they start
Like
following
human
people.
life.
Even when you fly outside the country to run away from the problem,
To remain the same.
you remain the same. This becomes a spiritual battle which you need to deal with it. And for us, we can say that God can help such people, and they can be better people. Yeah.
One thing I know is that for a parent who has invested all his or her sweat in terms of money to educate a child, to upbring this child, they get so disappointed when it comes to a point when their child or their children are actually with bad character. They are spoiled. They are the ones taking drugs. They're the ones taking a lot of alcohol. They are actually not settled at their workplaces. They are being taken to places like Botabika
Yes,
for rehabilitation. But yet the family has invested every part of their money. These children have studied in the best schools in the country, but nothing has come out. They are actually now getting more stressed, yet they did all their best. What advice would you give to such a family?
Yeah, maybe those who are already in it, one of the things you can go spiritually and be helped through counseling and prayer. But I would like to say that, you know, the Bible says that show a child the way to go.
They are still young.
And when he's still young, and when he grows up, not live that way. The psychologists say, that's the Bible now, the psychologists say that for you, if you want to shape a child in what you want that child to be, don't wait, do it before the age of 12.
Yes.
What you want to put in this child by the age of 12
years, then
it will be very difficult to change that child. Sometimes children go astray, actually, especially around teenage.
yes,
They go astray, but after some time they will come back to the original foundation which you gave them. So maybe I want to call upon the parents that make sure you give enough time to your child, especially in the early age.
Find
From 0
from your busy
to
schedules, please find time to teach these children the right things to do. And some of the right things is when you see a mistake, direct them and tell them, no, this is bad, you've done a wrong thing. And you see, being humble and being empathetic, these are traits that are nurtured from home. You see a child beating up his fellow children, they are fighting, and you just look on. These are going to be the next boxers and are going to beat up people in streets. There is a write-up here that clearly states how to develop one's character. One, you must be clear if you're developing someone's character, good character. As a parent, take note of that. Be clear. What do you want your child to take? What good thing do you want them to take from you? And here we say that clarity makes it much easier for one to understand. When your communication is clear, when what you're saying is clear, then the child will not make mistakes. They will, in fact, also communicate with clarity. You see these young kids, when they hear mommy say, this is what is supposed to be done, they also try to repeat after you. Because they want to actually kind of imitate what you're saying. Then be intentional. Be intentional by using, by actually putting out what values do you want to guide this child in. And the bit of being intentional is that there is a leadership role as a parent that you play, whereby you walk through life with intentional purpose. Why do you move purposeless in life? You want your child to also get lost? Be a purposeful person where someone knows that daddy leaves home at 7 but gets home at 7 or at 6. And when he gets home, all what we do as children, because daddy told us, we run after daddy, greet daddy, say daddy welcome back. You know, these are simple aspects of family nurturing. Be accountable. Whether you are a boss in an organization or you are an employee, accountability is key, and it's for all of us. Be a great follower. If you do not know how to follow, you will not know how to lead. That is very key. Be a follower. A great follower will always be a good leader, because he has a time of falling back and seeing. And when you want to build a leadership role in your children, teach them to be good followers. Then last but not least, be humble. That's what Pastor talked about. Being humble does not mean that you're a fool.
Exactly.
Humble people are the wisest people on earth. In fact, being humble makes you to listen, to get a lot of information before you communicate. People think, misconstrue the word being humble to being people without anything to say.
Sure.
No, that's not true. And being humble does not only qualify to be when you're a pastor. Even other people, you can please also be humble. Then be the example you want others to follow. Then that will make you build a good character. Let's get back for a commercial break, and we'll be back with your calls. I think you've had enough from us. You'll definitely join us using our studio lines. Please make sure you call and say something, discuss with us, because we're interested in your feedback. The number is 07 to leave the studio. Mr. Godfrey, you've heard from the caller from Iganga. He seems not to have any hope that something can change. There's a lot that has
Change
changed.
starts with me and you. Let us all embrace it. And know, as we told you earlier on previous programs,
Yes.
that there is an impression that people of integrity, people are honest and straight, are very few in Uganda. They are actually very many.
There are many.
If anything, they are the majority. You want things done right away, they are the majority. But because of the few who are influential, it appears as if those who are crooked are many.
The few
But
bad
because the few have overshadowed
ones.
those that are good, we think very many are bad. But if we come up and begin to talk about honesty, integrity, people being trustworthy, right from the grassroots,
Yeah.
in the future we shall have people, because all these power in all high places, positions, we are one time in our homes.
Yeah.
We're in homes, we're in schools. So let us begin by shaping these people, so that by the time they get up here in responsibilities, they will be able to help our country, so that we enjoy being Ugandans.
Someone
And even
has
the
sent
entire
us an SMS and said, can you please be invited in schools to help teach about trust the way you're doing it? Thank you so much for the show. Unfortunately, you've not left your name. I would have loved to know who has actually written the message. Pastor,
Yes.
are you okay with being invited to schools to talk
Actually,
about
it is in our strategic plan. We want to give you hope that we will be moving out to schools to mentor our children. But I want to respond to this guy who was from Iganga. We have a saying that we are overcoming evil by doing good. It begins with us, then it extends to the neighbor. We may not have the power to fight bad people out of the country. The only way to do it is to start being good. It is all about you, and then when people see that it is working out in you, then they can learn from you. It may take time, but we can get there if we all accept that we have a challenge and we need to work on it.
Finally, in a message, I think this is Joachim. He says, I agree with your program, sir, but still this will help only the elites. Those from poor education backgrounds will remain the same. Joachim, I think we can still push the agenda, because you've gotten an opportunity to listen to this program. We always say that do your part. Please let your candle shine, let your light shine wherever you are. In the marketplace, at a boda stage, in your office, please start like that and you see things will change. Fine.
Also,
Our
we are
time
talking
is fast
to the other
spent.
group also at
Yes,
Usogan Radio
yes,
tomorrow
yes.
in Usogan,
Yes.
so they can hear. Listen
All
to
right.
us.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll be here again on Monday with another captivating discussion or topic on these pillars of trust. I'm telling you, it is always exciting to be on radio to speak about these issues. Good night.